Hello and welcome to another edition of the Wine Our Mini Spotlight. I am James Lott Jr., your host, and I do usually the recaps on the weekends on Sundays. There will not be a recap this Sunday. I'm taking some time off for some family stuff. So I'm bringing you a new episode where I'm spotlighting another show. There is no competition. There is no craziness. We're all in this together because everyone likes to talk about their shows. Everyone does. And they don't care. They'll talk to 10 podcasts when it comes to their shows. And this podcast, I would say is, I mean, since 2009, folks, 2009. I thought I've been doing this since 2015. I thought that was a long time. They got me beat. So you're gonna talk about what it was like back then in the dinosaur age and how it is today for them now. They are the Young and the Restless recap podcast, and I'm happy to have Lindsay and Amanda. Hi, ladies.
Hello.
Hi there. Welcome to the show. I'm going to do a little we call the church announcements. So you can follow Wine Our Mini Spotlight here on my online network, JLJ Media. So go ahead, JLJ Media. There's a subscribe button down here somewhere. I don't know where it is. Go ahead and push it real good, and give us some 5 stars, give some thumbs up. I'll have a link to their show in the description. So go follow them, listen to their podcast. Listen to it this weekend because I'm not going to be around. So listen to them. Go see what they're doing. Check out their stuff. Also, this is a podcast version too. Hello, podcast listener. Listening to our voices. We just surpassed 4,000 downloads. So we're very happy about that for just the podcast version. We just celebrate that this week. You guys thanked us so much for that. Thank you for listening to it. It's still going up. So listen to us and see what we're talking about also here. So go ahead and check that out on any streaming platform. From Apple to Spotify to Google, iHeartRadio, we are everywhere. So go ahead and follow us there. All right. Oh, and I have to thank all the Taraya fans out there. The video is at 21,000 views. It's crazy talk and still growing. And don't worry. I talked to the powers that be at Y&R. I work with them. And just keep your eyes open. Your favorite couple may come back on the show at some points. So that's all I can say right now. So your work is not unnoticed. They do know your work. They know what you love, the fans. And Cameron and Kate and I, thank you so much for listening and watching our videos. Okay, that's all that. Those church announcements brought to you by JLJ Media. All right, lady, now it's all about you guys. So first of all, how are you guys doing during this whole pandemic stuff? I was going to ask everybody, first of all, you're up in Oregon. How are you guys doing up there?
Oh, I feel like there's more drama in our lives than there is in Y&R right
now. Oh, yeah.
We just survived an ice storm. Like half the city has no power. We had wildfires. Yeah. We are living Genoa City this year.
Everybody. So I'm glad you guys are okay. First of all, I'm glad you're okay. I have to ask, okay, when did each of you first start watching The Young and the Restless?
Mm-hmm. You started early.
Yeah, my mom has watched it for, since the beginning. Okay. So I think I've seen it. I haven't missed an episode, I'm pretty sure, since like 92. I've seen. Wow. So, even in college, I was like setting up the VCR with like the rabbit antennas and like recording it so I could watch it after school. Yeah. And then Amanda, you started.
Yeah, Lindsay and I went to grad school together, and every lunch conversation would revolve around Y&R, and I couldn't participate. So I started watching the show then. And that was actually the initial hook for our podcast, was that Lindsay was the longtime watcher and I was a newbie that she had to explain everything to. So now I feel like I've got a better handle on,
Oh, you're
a veteran now. I mean,
you are. I get it now. I know who people are now.
And Amanda was like a huge All My Children fan.
Yes.
Yay.
I grew up with All My Children. Yeah.
Pine Valley's coming back. Pine Valley. I'm curious to see how they're going to do that at night. Okay. It's a nighttime show, but it's going to come back. So Kelly Ripa and Marcus Suelos are producing it. So I'm curious to see how they're going to do it.
Oh, that'll be fun. Okay.
They better have Erica Kane. Erica Kane, and bring back Jacob Young as J.R. Chandler. Bring those two. I'll be happy to be them.
Yeah.
Wait, did you watch the reboot, Amanda? You watched the reboot?
No, I didn't, because I just couldn't wrap my head around it.
It was weird. Obviously it didn't last. Obviously, it was weird. Did not last. I got a chance to interview Eva LaRue last year. Oh my gosh, she is the sweetest person. I was a huge fan of hers, Maria, and I didn't watch CSI Miami and all that crap, but I did watch it from all my children. So it's good to actually meet her. Speaking of, all right, and on General Hospital right now we got Jenny and Tad back together basically as new characters.
Oh wow!
And Kim Delaney is back on daytime TV, and it's so weird seeing them together all these years later. Like, oh my god, did you die on a jet ski? Yeah, so it's a whole.
I remembered that.
Yeah, I remember that too. No, I remember that too. The trip. Okay, so 2009. I have no idea. I didn't know what a podcast was back then. I was not on the internet. I wasn't even in entertainment yet. I came in. That was the first year I came into kind of this entertainment thing. I mean, I did a few TV shows in 2007 and 8, but 2009 is when I changed my life at 40, came back to LA. I was doing some other stuff, but I didn't know so what was the landscape back then? Like, how did you know about podcasts and all that?
Yeah, I think actually I was making fun of podcasts because my husband had one.
Oh, he had one. What was his?
Yeah, his was like he and a buddy like reviewed comics. They would go down to Comic-Con, and I don't know because it didn't last that long.
It's big business now. You should be doing it now. It's big business now. Dang.
But I think I was making fun of him, and he said, no, you should get a podcast. Like you should, and I said, why, what would I even do a podcast on? And he said, what would you consider yourself an informal expert on? And so I thought about it and I said, well, Y&R. That's the only thing that I think I can truly speak to. When they say like, you can stand up and give a speech for 20 minutes on a random topic, I could probably do that on Y&R.
Easily.
And yeah, and Amanda and I, we were in school together and we were both teachers, and we just went, you know what, this would be a good way to get together on Friday night.
Right. Yeah.
Have a beer.
Oh yeah.
And you got something non-professional.
Yeah. Let's just have, we thought nobody's going to listen to this, probably like 4 people. Yeah. My mom.
And my mom.
And then all of a sudden we were getting emails from people in other countries where, because Y&R had gone off syndication, and so they were listening to our podcast to basically keep up with some of their like favorite people. And so we just kept going. Yeah. Why not?
I love that. I mean, seriously, I think you are one of the longest podcasts for soaps I could think of. I really just don't know. There are many of us who are like me, 2015, 2014. Some came in it.
It was super medieval back then. It really was.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. So how did you even, what was out? I mean, it's so much easier now.
Yeah.
Explain, how did you even set it up?
Well, I feel like my husband did all the technical work because he had all the equipment and he knew what to do. And then we would just sit and then he would say, okay, are you ready? Yes. Okay, record. Yeah. He would do all the stuff for us.
Wow.
And Lindsay does everything for us and I get to sit there doing nothing. So.
Girl, you're smart.
Me. We used to have the window open. You'd hear like birds and fire trucks and
you learn about sound later. You learn the set. It picks up everything. Oh yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm. I love that. I mean, so what platform did you hit? Was iTunes back then still? I guess that was.
I think that must
iTunes
be
from the beginning.
Yeah.
So it's so crazy to me.
I still do it the same way. I know that there are easier ways to do it, but I literally still do it the exact same way because that's the only way I know how to do it.
Wow, that's amazing. How many episodes have you guys done?
102.
I know we've done
specialized episodes.
Yeah, I feel like we've hit an official like 102, but we know we've probably done more like 130 because sometimes we do like special episodes.
Like best of every year, and when Jeannie Cooper died, we did a tribute episode to her. When Christoph St. John died, we did a tribute episode for him.
Yeah.
So we don't count those as regular episodes.
They count. They're episodes.
Yeah.
I think if we'd known we'd been going this long, we might have had like a plan for how we organize things, but it was more just like, another one.
Make it a prayer.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's too, so here's what's funny. So when I got to a place called AfterBuzz TV 7 years ago, their whole premise was all after shows are friends talking about their favorite show. You guys literally, that's what you did years before that. I mean, that was something that you did years before that. Was 2 friends talking about their favorite show. Like, it's basically you're hanging out and just discussing your show. And I listened to some of your episodes, and that's very much what it is. And that's what I love about it. It's something that's just really just like easy breezy. What do you think, girl? What do you think, girl? Oh my God, that's basically what it is. I like that. So what has been the biggest challenge this whole 11 years you've been doing this? Has it been a big challenge at one point? Was there a weird... Oh,
well, there for 3.5 years, I lived in Alaska.
Oh my goodness.
And in a very small village where internet was iffy at best. And so it was very difficult to get an internet connection that stayed up long enough that we could do the actual podcast. So we would be, 20 minutes into it, and then suddenly my internet and phone would go out, and we would just have to wait until
I feel like I was talking
on.
about Nick's hair and you just left me.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. Now I got a question for you, girls. So in Alaska, do you get good TV reception up there? Do you have TV?
How'd you watch it?
Oh, yeah. TV is not a problem because everyone has a satellite dish.
Okay.
And so that wasn't a problem. The problem was that where I was, there was no way to record it. And so if I didn't see it in the broadcast, I didn't see it.
Okay.
Sometimes I might have gone to school and watched it on their Wi-Fi.
Hey, okay.
But not really, don't sue me.
Exactly, I love it.
But, and if you miss a day here or there, you're still going to be able to catch up on the storyline.
And she knows that I'm watching them all. So.
Right, yeah. And there was a lot of texting of, what is going on here, that kind of thing.
But I will say that was pretty lonely because then she moved away and then we're like trying to connect virtually like everybody's doing during the pandemic now, but that was like 4 years ago.
Right.
So when she moved back, it was like, oh, we can podcast in person
again. Because it does change the dynamic a lot.
Yeah, it's
to be in the same room.
Yeah, there's difference. What I miss my co-host because we have to do it virtually. We're not together. We don't. My co-host is in Mississippi, and so we can't do it together. How was it for you guys when there was no new episodes last year? That's what caught us off guard. When it was like there's no new episodes for like 3 months. It was like there's no episodes. Yeah. It was
we still got together and podcasted.
Yeah, we talked about.
What did we even talk about?
Well, we talked about
the theme weeks. I guess they had theme weeks and stuff like that.
About the themes. And for me, it was nice because most of the episodes that they showed were things that were before I started as a viewer.
Oh, okay.
And so it was great to say, oh, okay, now I know, who this person is or where they came from.
And I was so obsessed with production news that I think we probably recapped a lot of that,
Oh, yeah.
June 1st is the date that they might actually consider going back.
Right.
That's so funny. Yeah. You guys don't watch Bold and Beautiful at all, then? You just strictly Y&R. You don't go with that extra half hour. No, you don't do that.
Yeah.
So my thought. Well, my thought.
Commitment already.
Right.
Well, but here's my thing then. Okay, so the whole Sally Spectra thing.
Right.
We're
now
blind.
how I wish that I knew.
Yeah.
And had been watching Bold and Beautiful because there's something going on with her.
Yeah.
But if you're only Y&R, you don't know what it is.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Okay. That's kind of, I would get to listen to your rest of what you think because that's interesting. And then you have Brad coming back,
right?
Which you'll talk about on your show, I'm sure.
Yeah.
They're coming back and crossing. Well, I said Brad. He's Dollar Bill on Bold and Beautiful, but he's And Heather Tom is over there on so it's always crazy. They got this weird thing. So yes. I was thinking the crossovers, but the folks who don't watch Y&R don't watch that, they become a weird thing. So you didn't see her. You didn't see Homegirl meet Wyatt. Oh, you just said, okay, that's very interesting. Okay, so you really are like you're in General City. You don't know anything back there.
We're like, who is this mystery woman?
Right.
That's interesting. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Now I wish I had that. Sorry. That's very interesting. Oh, that's interesting. So for us too, it was a little strange at first. We were like, well, do we still do a show? So I ended up, because I work with Y&R, I'm getting guests and stuff for those theme weeks, just to kind of make up for stuff. Because we're like, people I found because we do ours live. We do it like this, we do it live. People like coming together and talking about their favorite show. Every Sunday. We've been doing it for 6 years, and they kind of like, oh, okay. It's like a habit. And I kind of miss it sometimes too. I go, oh, I missed you. I gotta do it too. And we decided to kind of keep it. Plus, for us hosts, keep our own sanity. I can imagine for you guys too. It kept yours during that early pandemic stuff. Just something to look forward to, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
It was a spark of sanity.
It was like the only normal thing.
Yeah.
Like like when the show came back, it was almost like, oh yeah, this is what it feels like to feel this much normal. Yeah.
Okay. Who are each of your favorite character or characters right now?
Who can I guess yours?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think your favorite character right now would be Amanda. No pun intended or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, how fun! Oh my God, how funny! She's good.
Yeah, she is good. I like her a lot. I'm going to disagree with you though. I think right now Abby is fascinating.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I like already.
It doesn't happen very often for me. I'm not a big Abby fan, but I have turned the corner in the last couple of weeks.
So I have this belief that Amanda is actually secretly a writer on the show because she calls things 6 to 8, 9 months ahead of time. And I'm like, that's not going to happen. And then it's like it unfolds somehow and it does happen.
Yeah, that's just coincidence, you know? I watch a lot of TV, so I know how the writers think.
I'll say that's what it is. That's what it is. Okay, that's what it is completely. And so for you, homegirl, who is your favorite, Lindsay? Who's your favorite?
Who do you think my favorite?
Victoria, who's turning evil.
No, not my favorite right now.
She's becoming Victor Jr.
No, this is hard. Well, like I always kind of default to the same people.
Yeah, well, because they're good.
Who are your
I think I'm going to go with Sharon right now.
Okay, yeah,
Sharon.
Okay.
I always love Sharon.
Going on.
Yeah.
Okay, Sharon. So now you know that Sharon and Adam and Chelsea.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm loving her inner dialogue. I'm like, girl, keep her paralyzed for a while. She's hilarious. He's like, I hate her. You want my husband. Want my man. And I just love her dialogue. It's like hilarious. She's doing a good job though. Man, she looks like she's like really like that. I'm like, ooh, good acting.
Yeah.
Good acting. That's so funny. You mentioned special episodes, and for me, I knew Christoph St. John, and he was scheduled to come on my show. And he passed away.
Yeah.
And so it's been a couple of years now, which I can't believe it. At times going that fast. And okay, what do you feel his impact was? Everybody talks so much. I mean, in the industry, everybody loved him. Like he was just like, but for you guys, for YNR as watchers, what was his impact for you?
I think he was impactful in being an African-American actor in a genre that does not have a lot of diversity. We've talked about that a lot over the years.
Like since the beginning.
And it's gotten better. But his character was always or often someone that we just hated. There were so many times I can remember saying, oh, I hate Neil. And then Christoph St. John passes away and I was like, oh wow, I feel really bad about all the horrible things I said about
right.
Was a very nice person.
But the void that he left also is like, I feel like it's just still rippling through, because we've talked about so many times where like something is happening. It's like, well, this is where Neil would step in, or this is like where Neil would be like the confidant, or I don't know. And so you can just really feel his absence in the show.
And you can see some of the actors stepping up to fill his shoes, to say, okay, now, what's her name? Crystal Khalil.
Khalil,
yes. She has really come into her own as an actress. And
she's my favorite. I take it back.
It's Lily. It's Lily.
Lily right now.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're now looking to the next generation to say, okay, come on, soap opera, come on YNR and be a representative and, do the work.
So I'm going to ask you, Amanda.
Yeah.
Because I am a Billy Amanda fan.
Okay.
I felt they were cut off too soon. And they pushed. I mean, they have Billy Lily. And then of course there's Victoria now trying to come back all of a sudden, which I don't like. But I liked Billy because I like Michelle Morgan. I think she's a wonderful actress. When they killed her off as Hillary, I was upset. But as Amanda, she did a great job as Amanda. It's just like, okay, she's working it out. So I mean, did you care if I say Billy and Amanda? Does that mean anything to you? Like, no, yeah, no. You're like, how do you feel about that?
I didn't mind Billy and Amanda. I just didn't see where they could go.
Okay.
It didn't have any longevity, so it was like, okay, I'm not too upset that they broke it off early.
Who you
That being said, I'm not 100% on board with Billy and Lily either. So
Me neither. But I don't want Billy and Amanda though. I mean, Billy and Victoria. I'm like, really? They're going
yeah,
backwards. I mean, she's not all of a sudden she's obsessed with them, kind of. I'm like, where did that come from?
yeah.
That's just me. Well, who do you think Amanda should be with?
Devon.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just,
dude.
Yeah. I
Oh.
think yeah.
like, which is weird because I think when she first came back on the scene, I was like
Oh,
rolling
no,
my
no, no.
eyes, like, oh, come on. But
Too
now
obvious.
it does feel like it fits really well. For
Mhm.
me, it does.
Yeah.
So no Elena? No, I mean,
No, Nick gets Nate. She gets the other.
The other?
Yeah, the other, you know, there's that foursome. And,
No, I think
yes.
if I were to say the way I want it to go,
Mhm.
Elena is pregnant with Devon's baby.
Yeah, well, sure.
But Devon and Devon and Amanda have to make it, they still stay as a couple.
And raise the other person's baby.
While Elena and maybe Nate, I don't know if I want them. I don't know. I just feel like
you have a show. We mean coming up. You know that Devon now is part of this whole Abby thing. So they'll be discussing that, folks, on their show. I'm sure they'll be discussing, and we'll discuss it when I get back on our show too. But you're gonna be discussing it. So it's a whole. They're throwing him in there now all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Yes. What are your feelings about Taraya? They're such a popular couple. They're not really together that much. I mean, there's not really on
they
stuff.
don't show them coupling very much.
No, but man, their fan base is like really intense.
Yeah, darn right.
Yeah.
Well, they should be.
Totally.
You know, this is definitely an underrepresented mix.
Yeah.
So.
And I have not liked Mariah's character for a long time, and now I think I finally do. Like, it took me a while to come around for her, but I think them as a couple, didn't we vote them like hottest love scene of the year?
Yeah, for 2020.
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
Well, the thing is, Mariah has matured, and showing her being the good friend to people. I think with the Abby storyline, especially, and all that, just being a good friend. I know what you mean. It's just kind of turned the tide on her. She wasn't super likable, I think. You know, she was kind of. I mean, I like her. I like Cameron Grimes, but her character wasn't super likable. I don't think.
Yeah.
You say that. Richard Newman, My buddy Eric Braden, celebrated 41 years.
I saw that.
41 years. So, what are your thoughts on Victor Newman and Eric Braden? I mean, you know, he's very outspoken online as Eric Braden, but Victor Newman, of course, he's a legend. So, what are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I mean, even before I was watching the show, I knew who Eric Braden was.
Everybody does.
Everybody does. And he fulfilled every expectation I ever had. You know?
Yeah.
I can't see. Every once in a while, you'll see him on roles that he did years ago.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, what is happening right now?
It's a trip. You're like, oh.
Yeah.
And I love his new sort of like retired vibe.
Mm-hmm. I would hang out with this Victor.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, 3 years ago, Victor, no way.
But you know what I really miss? You know what they need to put in there? I need a scene of him like boxing a little bit, you know?
He needs to take that shirt off. Tell you what.
I love when he gives advice and it's always like around boxing.
Right.
You know, I'll tell you something, because, you know, I am friends with him now. We have interviewed him 3 times over the years. But when I first met him, I was scared S-less. I was scared because his reputation, everything. But I will tell you, when he walked in, he was like, "Hi, James. Very nice to meet you." Strong handshake. He's in great shape. I mean, he's in his 70s, better shape than I am. And I was like, okay. And he literally was very warm and welcoming. And I saw him for his 40th anniversary right before COVID hit. I was supposed to interview him for his 40th anniversary that next week. COVID hit, the studio shut down. And so another one, but it's a great guy. He's a very nice guy. He's just very outspoken, and he believes what he believes, and he loves his son. That's the one thing over these years that I've been like seeing. He loves his son Christian, who's a filmmaker himself.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I read his book, and there was a lot in there about his son and how his son's his best friend. And it's like, that's just, it's so sweet, but I believe him.
Yeah,
you know?
Cool.
I think it's nice.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it is, and his son's really nice. Jeannie Cooper. So I've not met her, but I interviewed her son, the famous Corbin Burnson, and his wife Amanda Pays. I love them. When she passed, I mean, I still feel like there's a void to this day. I feel bad for like Jill and seeing Nina back and all them. I just feel like, wow, I wish Catherine was here. How do you guys feel about that too? How do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, she would have definitely had some fun opinions about what's going on in town and the shenanigans and all that, and especially with her grandkids coming together. And
I also like what they're
rivals.
talking about, you know, with like Faith's new drinking. I feel like Catherine would have been such a like excellent layer to like talking about that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
For sure.
And she's like old school glamour.
Right.
It was. But it was good seeing Trisha Cass back as Nina. I was like, thank you. It made sense. It made good storyline. I love when they bring back veterans for certain storylines. It actually like in real life, they would come back for. And I would say I love the scene where Nina's reading her letter at the same time Abby's reading her letter from Chance. It was a very interesting way they directed that, and heard her voice, and you'd hear her voice, and you hear her, and I thought it was very cool. I thought it was very cool.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah.
And Abby was wearing a really cute top. She had a cute little black. I was like, I love that top, girl. I love it. I'd wear it. I love it. She was really good. So how would you describe Y&R to people? If they never watched it, how would you describe it to people?
I would describe it as an old school, full-on soap opera, melodrama, super fun. You don't have to have watched it for years and years to be able to pick it up pretty quickly, but then you just get sucked into the storylines.
I think I've had people be like, isn't that a soap opera? You watch that? And I say, yeah, my whole life. I feel like I would have a panic attack if I heard it was going to go off the air, because those are people that sort of like live in your mind all the time, and that universe is existing all the time. So yeah, I would describe it as like a never ending show that is always entertaining. I don't know.
Well, it's always got good production values.
Yeah.
It's always got.
I love watching the outfits and the hair.
Yeah. We always say, oh, there hasn't been a gala or a masquerade ball lately. And then sure enough, within a month or two, they will have some kind of big dress up event.
True.
It's like, you get to live vicariously through these characters and say, well, what would I do if I fell in a volcano? Okay, well,
I would reach for your hand.
I bet you would.
Exactly. I would help you out. I'd help you.
I would get you out of the volcano.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's over the top, but that's what's fun about it, right?
That's
like
why
it's campy sometimes, but I think also like we really appreciate that, like it really addresses some real life issues.
Right, absolutely.
Right?
It does. I don't want to call it disease of the week, but they often have really good information when someone has some kind of major disease, and we always appreciate when they're giving out accurate information. It's like, okay, this, or if they have like the PSA at the end saying, if you've got this going on in your life, you might want to talk to someone about it, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and I mean, like we like to joke about some of the corny stuff that happens, or sometimes the dialogue or whatever. And I think sometimes I've noticed on like the comments people leave on our Instagram, it's like they think we're being serious, and it's like, do you really think if we hated this show or didn't like the characters, that we would be continually watching or podcasting? Like, no, we love this show.
We're not hate watchers.
No.
Me neither. Yeah, no, we're not hate watchers.
I feel like we're generally celebrating that the show is still on the air, and that's exciting for us.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Number one show, show on daytime. I mean, it's been number one for 7 years or whatever. So it's like it's not going nowhere. I don't think it's doing. It has such great production value. Everything. I just think it's such a. Of all the soaps, it just looks beautiful. It's very gorgeously recorded, filmed. And I've been on a set. And the set's small. It's like a tiny set. It's like this big. It just looks big on screen. It's so weird. I went to Crimson Lights. So I'm like, oh my god, it's so tiny in here. This is crazy. But it looks so spacious in there. This toy is
totally does.
Totally not at all. But you guys have to come down. Well, when things get better, because we have to go to Television City. You gotta get a taste of the set and everything.
Tell you that is on the bucket list.
Yeah, that's been one of the goals of the podcast.
I know.
Like since the 10th year.
Yeah.
Well, I'll get you down there. I can maybe help you out with that, get you down there. But right now, everything's closed up kind of. But when it opens up again.
Yeah. Someday.
And I appreciate the fact that even though they have so many restrictions, the quality didn't really go down.
Yeah.
It could have really turned into
Yeah.
flat puppet show, and
Yes.
they keep up the standard, which is great.
Yeah, I think I am always continually impressed the fact that they're not touching, and yet like it always feels like there's tension, or like
You
I
still
can
do
see
the
it.
relationships.
Yeah, it's still really good.
They're working very hard. I mean, that's the thing. They're all working together, from the cast, the writers, the actors. Yes, they bring in sometimes the significant others for the kissing scenes and things like that. I mean, they're doing what they can. I mean, both people use the mannequin, but that's another story. But they're doing what they can to. I tell people all the time, cut them some slack. It's in LA. COVID's been bad down here. It's been very. I've had some people from it. I had a cousin die from it. It's a crazy thing down here. So it's. They're doing what they can to bring you your show. And I said, don't complain so much, because then they'll have no show. Then what are you going to do? Like last year, we had no show for like 3 months.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well,
Days of Our Lives is the only one that had shows. We didn't have shows.
our runner-up for like sexiest love scene or best love scene was like the Nate and Elena shadows on the wall.
Right.
Like,
it was so interesting,
Yeah.
the way it was filmed and the way they
It was
got
so
around.
creative.
And if you didn't know that COVID was going on,
Yeah.
you might not think anything about it. It's like, oh wow, they did an artsy love scene. Okay,
Yeah.
great. And not a big blaring, these actors cannot touch each other,
Yeah.
so we have to put a screen between them.
Right.
It didn't come across that way.
Yeah, which I think that's the great thing about watching them have to imply stuff. And you know what? Sometimes that's okay, implying it. I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
You see everything. I mean, I did laugh when, Nate's standing there, shirt off, looking out the window, and Elena's having dreams about Devon. Whatever. That made me laugh. I was like, you got this hot man right here, and you think about Devon. I don't understand. Made me laugh. Made me chuckle.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure. Well, thank you so much, and I wish you much more continued success on this show. I mean, like I said, you guys are the beginners, the early folks, the veterans, 11 years and going. I mean, that's amazing, and congratulations.
Thank you.
And thanks for being on my show. Of course,
Thank you.
Yeah.
And maybe one of these days, if you guys are free on a Sunday, you should join us and recap the show.
Definitely.
Sure.
You guys are up for it, because we do it live. So we actually have live people, and so if you want to, you're welcome on our show to deal with us.
All right.
Tell people where they can find your podcast and you on social media.
Yeah. So if you get on iTunes, or really anywhere you probably subscribe to podcasts, just look up The Young and the Restless Recap. And then we also have an Instagram, The Young and the Restless Recap, where I periodically just post pictures or like funny scenes. Mostly they're laughable things.
Yeah.
I like that. That's what Instagram's for. That's what it's for, for that. So yes, I'll put this stuff in the description below, so you guys know where to go for them. And I'm James Lott Jr., and this is the Y&R Mini Spotlight. We spotlight the Y&R recap that's on, and you guys every week, right?
No.
Every other week,
When we feel like
when
it.
we can.
Every other
feel like it. Just follow them. Follow them. You'll know if you follow them, you'll know when a new episode comes out. That's the whole point. You follow them, you'll know what's going on. You'll be in the know. Be in the know, of course. And you can follow me. We're all James Lott Jr. is sold at James Lott Jr. on all social media platforms. We also have our own Y&R Mini Spotlight page on Instagram. We also have a Y&R Mini Spotlight page on Facebook, but it's titled JLJ's Y&R Universe, because my pages keep getting shut down. I don't know why my pages get shut down. Y&R, I talk to folks there. They say it's not them. They love me. It's not them. So we don't know what's going on. So I have a third page, and it's kind of crazy. Somebody's texting me. There's a helicopter going over me right now, so I don't know what's going on. But anyway, and so everybody go ahead and follow us there, and we'll share all our Y&R goodness. Everyone, please be safe. Be careful out there, and continue watching the #1 show on daytime television.